Well, good morning. Here we are again. It is the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. We are live. IndySportsShow.com. Go to any of those stations, if you will, any of the lines that the Renfro production folks have out there, whether it's the Deer Turkey Waterfowl, which is taking place this last weekend of the Boat Sport and Travel Show, a show within a show. I was out there yesterday, and it was packed as soon as the doors opened at noon, and I expect nothing different today. But you can go to the Deer Turkey Waterfowl, you can go to the Renfro Productions page for the Boat Sport and Travel Show. We're doing Facebook Live, and we have an absolutely jam-packed schedule today. And we are here back in the Travel Cafe. The doors just opened just moments ago, so we're expecting the crowds to come filing through, as it was last week, almost from sun up to sundown that we were here. This Travel Cafe was buzzing. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're not going to waste any time because it's truly my honor to visit with what people have acclaimed, what Outdoor Life magazine has proclaimed, one of the top 10 anglers on the planet. And you know, when we have a distinguished fisherman like Tommy Skarlis joining us here today, it's not just about fishing, but we're going to jump right into this. Tommy, it's great to see you and have you back here with us here at Facebook Live in the Travel Cafe. It's my honor to be with you. How have you been?
Well, the honor's all mine.
I know that, you know, you have a great honor that was just bestowed upon you. We're going to lead with that because I think that truly is one of the highlights of your career. You're going to be inducted, or have been inducted, into the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame 2020. Did you ever think that that was going to happen?
Well, of course, growing up, you dream of something like that happening. I always wanted to make a living in the outdoors. I always wanted to have a job in fishing and hunting.
Yep.
Find the right girl that would put up with that.
I think you've done both. Your wife, Michelle, is here with us in the Travel Cafe and obviously had a chance to briefly visit as we were getting you here, and it's just truly an honor. You know, when you were growing up, you talked about growing up, it was a dream. You've now made your vocation, your vacation, if you will. You've turned your passion, but you like to hunt, you like to fish, and that came at a very early age from a very significant influence in your life, your mom. Tell us about how you got started.
I went outside one day. She was in the garden digging around in the dirt with a bun hairdo and nice fingernails. I said, "What are you doing, Mom?" She goes, "I am sick and tired of you two kids getting in my hair." I had a brother of mine that was 13 months younger than me, that we fought like cats and dogs. So she was going to take me fishing, get me out of the house. Ever since then, I've been ate up by hunting and fishing. I don't care what it is. If it runs across the ground, if it swims, if it flies, I'm after it.
I love that about you. You're so adventuresome. You know, you've been called, if you go to any one of your online presences, your website, fishtommy.com, I think it is, all the list of your accolades that you've won take up almost the whole page. They call you Mr. Erie, they call you Mr. April. You've qualified back-to-back world champions in 17 and 18, but that hasn't come without some challenges because you took a nasty fall and broke your neck in 2016 pursuing what you love. But talk about the journey since 16, 17, 18, 19, you did a couple of tournaments, and I heard you say to me earlier, they didn't think you were coming back in the boat, and then you said to me, uh-oh, they said, he's back.
They actually said the S word. They
Shucks.
said, "Oh, shucks,
yeah,
he's back."
And you came back in a big way. You fished 2 tournaments. Now you're going to fish even more tournaments this year. But let's talk about that journey. What happened in 16? How did you come back in 17 and 18? Now you're here in great form, but you've had some struggles, and you embrace those struggles.
People are probably wondering what happened to the mullet.
Yeah.
The mullet's gone.
A lot more than the mullet.
Yeah.
What else has happened to you? Tell us about that journey.
Well, in 16, when I fell out of the tree, I should have been paralyzed by that deal. So I broke my neck on falling out of a tree. Then I was having some complications. Went to the hospital. They couldn't figure it out. The ER doctor in Waterloo, Iowa, said just for shucks and giggles, we're going to do a scan with contrast on your brain. And they found a tumor about the size of a walnut that was cancerous. And then when they removed that paralyzed my left side. They politely call it weakness. It knocked out my left hand, my left leg, put me in this new ride.
Fancy. All-wheel drive.
Well, we got to get one with a motor.
Yeah.
The track chairs cost about 12 grand.
Yeah. Well, we know that there's a lot of folks that know and love you, and one of the things that I've heard you call yourself is you're an inspirational angler. Your faith is critical to that whole journey that you've been through in your whole life. Share as much as you feel comfortable about how that came to be and why you call yourself an inspirational angler.
The biggest thing is just to teach people that in these chairs is not where it's at. Get off the couch. Get out there and get you some. Go fishing, go hunting. You wouldn't believe the days I've had where I forced myself to go fishing or hunting. And now it's getting even more and more that way. My theory is that I still got my right hand. I can still cast, still pull the trigger on a rifle or a shotgun. If it gets to the point where I couldn't pull the trigger with my hand, I'd do it with my tongue.
Well, you certainly are an inspiration. I know why you feel that way. There's a lot of folks have goals they set for themselves or lofty ideals that they want to live by, but you do for sure, and it's not just talk. You want to do that, and you've said oftentimes you want to make sure that your fishing helps change lives. That's pretty inspirational. How do you expect that you're going to be able to change lives? Tell us some of those stories on what you feel you've been able to do in changing people's lives through fishing.
When I was a kid, I slurred my S's in school. What's the first thing they ask you to do in kindergarten is you got to stand up and say your name. I said, Tommy Skarlis. From that point on, kids were slurring stuff that didn't have an S in it. I was little. I was 5'4" when I exited as a senior.
So how are you changing lives through your fishing? How do you want to change lives through your fishing?
Take a kid who's little, too little for sports.
Get him in a boat, take him to a dock, put a worm on the hook.
Teach him that you're okay.
Yeah. Well, I know that you've got an awful lot of folks over your years and all the shows and teachings that you've done who come back to you and said, I got into fishing because of you. That's truly changing lives.
My dad came in the hospital rooms, saw the flowers and the balloons. This is the time of the day that my emotions kick in.
I can tell, and that's okay. 'Cause there's a lot of folks out here that are cheering for you, they're rooting for you, and want to support you.
We figured when I was in the hospital, I had over $500,000. people praying for me.
A lot of prayer warriors out there.
Yeah.
All back to your faith, which a lot of folks get on the stage or get up in front and talk about how they have a faith and it drives them. The fishing community in general and a lot of the hunting community truly profess that and lead with that. And a lot of folks on tour, that's the backbone to their fishing. It's not about all of the sponsors and everything else. It is, and then we'll get to that in just a second, but it's truly those prayer warriors. It's those people that are behind you who lead with their faith. You couldn't do this without your faith, could you?
I couldn't do this without my wife, Michelle.
She's over there. She's hearing you. I got him all choked up, but that's okay. That's why we love Tommy Skarlis. You know, I'm going to throw out a few words, and some of these words you may agree with or not. A lot of people, I'm going to lighten this up for you just a little bit. A lot of folks say, Tommy Skarlis, fun guy. Are you a fun guy?
I try to be, especially when I got my fun guy slacks on.
You can't see these, but Valerie out here, who's Michelle's best friend, made these pants. He's very proud of these pants. Tommy Skarlis fisherman, I love it. You'd have to probably put about 4 or 5 of those together for me, but that's okay. But keep going. I'm sorry. You're a fun guy. You're a real guy. Are you a real person? Is what we see what we get?
Pretty much.
When you're not lying, right?
I embellish the truth a little bit every now and again.
Very subtle differences between lying and embellishing the truth when you're talking to fishermen.
Just remember, it's not what they tell you, it's what they leave out.
That's right. Charisma. Why are people drawn to Tommy?
I have been known to loan out large sums of money from time to time.
If they don't like you, just buy their friendship, right?
Low interest rates.
Yep. Friendly.
Sorry, Michelle. It's actually in the hundreds of thousands.
People say that you're one of the friendliest guys they know in the fishing community. Is that true?
You know, it all boils down to the golden rule. Which we're working really hard to teach our kids. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Kind of gets you through most things, doesn't it, when you want to be treated like you want to treat somebody else?
When you face your immortality, you realize there's a lot of truth to that.
So I'm going to go back to something that you're going to, a little later on, they're going to recognize you here on stage. And we just realized there's 7 inductees, old and new, here this weekend at the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. A little later on, they're going to have all of you together. And I want to know, how did you find out? Where were you? How did you find out that you were inducted?
I was at home and a friend of mine called. Somebody had spilled the beans.
What was that like when you got the phone call?
It's pretty amazing.
Obviously, you get emotion. You show your emotions. Were you sad? Were you happy? Were you, thank God? Was it, what were some of the things that went through your mind?
Everything good in my life comes with a thank God.
As it should.
Yeah.
You know, I know you've got to get up there on stage and you're going to affect some people here today. And we do a lot of these, and it's not about which rig, which jig, which casting technique, which lake you like to fish, what conditions, what's your sonar like. I want to still focus with you on some of the things that you want to talk about. What haven't I asked? What would you like for people to know on this day at the Boat Sport and Travel Show, going forward into the 2020 season where you're going to be fishing? You told me 7 tournaments this year, 2 last, 7 this year. Here you are, you've got one arm, you're going to get in the boat and fish 7 tournaments. What do you want the message to be for people to hear today on Facebook Live from Tommy?
get off the couch, go fishing, go to a show, go to a seminar, go buy a magazine. Outdoor magazines are struggling right now. I grew up reading them from page to page.
Yep.
A lot of those old articles still are true.
They sure are. You know, you come here as a lot of the professionals do with a whole shirt full of sponsors, but I know you're very proud of this. Your sponsors, over 30 of them, have all stuck with you through your journey here of the last. They could have easily gone somewhere else, but because of the character, the charisma, the personality, the teaching, all of the things that you do, they've all stuck with you. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel like crying again.
And that's okay, as it should. You should be proud of that. Tommy, I'm going to let you get ready for your next session. Know that you're loved by millions. Your honors are well deserved. Congratulations on your 2020 induction into the National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame. We're going to see you back next year, aren't we? We're going to talk about another walleye championship, maybe? Is that on the record? We're going to put that on the books right now. We're going to talk about the 2020 champion, Tommy Skarlis. I bet you that's a possibility. You think about that. Folks, we are here at the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. I don't know how we could have started this any better. I just can't tell you what an honor it is, and it's my thrill and my privilege when I get to sit here on this couch to talk with somebody not about how they flip and jig and cast and spin and dance around in a boat, but what it's truly like to be a great human being using their vocation of fishing to teach, to motivate, to educate, you name it, and that is epitomized by Tommy Skarlis, his wife Michelle, and all the love and support that he gets from all those fans and sponsors. He's going to be here throughout today doing some seminars. Come on out to the 66th Annual Ford Boat Sport and Travel Show. Come by and tell Tommy that you're thinking about him and you're one of those 500,000 prayer warriors out there who are going to make this journey for him a little easier. Let's figure out how to get Tommy into one of those motorized vehicles so he can catch some more crappie and walleye and shoot and hunt and fish and do all those things. Folks, we're going to be back here in just a little bit. You're not going to want to miss every hour on the hour. We're going to be here all day long in the Travel Cafe. I can't believe not one cocktail's been sold yet. That's a travesty. Come back. Maybe we'll change that. 11 o'clock.